Hello and welcome to Ipswich's Real Estate Podcast, a podcast where we help you navigate the often complex world of buying, selling and renting here in Ipswich and the surrounding areas. I'm Steve Athanates. I'm the owner of NGU Real Estate Ipswich here in our beautiful city of Ipswich and surrounding areas. I'm joined today by a great friend of the show, Matthew Taylor-Farrington from Purple Bunny Marketing.
Yes, thanks for having me, Steve.
Yes, mate, I'm back. For my loyal viewers, I have been absent for a period of time. My deepest and most sincere apologies. I am back. All right, so
Yes.
we're going to talk about today the Ipswich real estate market wrap for May 2025.
Yes.
Particularly poignant time of year. We've had the war in Iran, which we've talked about previously, all sorts of issues with inflation, interest rate rises. And then coupled on top of that, we've had a federal budget which has had a profound effect on our marketplace.
Yes.
But we'll discuss that as we get through it.
Yep.
As always, we come along today to talk about our results and what we were able to achieve as a brand here in Ipswich. So Matt wants to ask me a series of questions about what happened in May 2026.
Yeah, so I guess to get started off, as we always do, but what was it looking like from a listing and selling perspective? What did we list? What did we sell? How did we go for the month of May?
Okay, now obviously I mentioned the market's changed a little bit.
Yes.
We'll talk about that more in depth later.
Yep.
But the really strong and encouraging news is I think there's a little bit of, well, when I say a little bit, I think there's a lot of skepticism. There's a bit of doom and gloom about potentially what's happening in our market. People are thinking, if you watch the news and look at your Facebook feed, you think the world's on fire and the Ipswich the real estate market in general is on fire.
Yes.
It's not true. What I can tell you is people are still listing, people are still selling and people are still buying.
Yes.
So Ipswich continues to be a strong transactional market.
Yep.
For the month of May, we listed 121 properties for the month of May.
Yeah.
So obviously 31 days, basically 4 properties a day.
Yes.
So what's the positive there? Okay, 121 properties.
Yep.
But also for buyers, a lot more choice than we
Yes.
have seen in a while. So there's plenty of stock and there's plenty of opportunities, okay, and choice.
Yes.
You've got a lot more choice. So 121 properties listed for the month of May.
Yep. Lovely, lovely. And so what did we do from a selling perspective? How did that look?
Okay, now it has slightly come back a little bit, but what I can tell you is our amazing agents, they continue to perform to the highest level for our amazing and very loyal sellers. So we were able to sell 78 properties for the month of May. So somewhere around 2.5 properties a day. Not quite 3, that would be around 93, but 78 properties for the month of May. So 2.5 properties sold, Ipswich properties sold every single day for the month of May. So you can see what I'm saying. It's not doom and gloom.
Correct.
The sky is not falling in. Okay, we're all okay. There is no apocalypse coming.
Yes.
Okay, there is definitely a change afoot.
Yes. Agreed. And obviously, are you seeing since the budget and since, all the things that we've had playing out in the world market, but are we seeing an impact on property prices like the BD is reporting?
Yes.
Obviously, we've been seeing record highs and price increases month in, month out, but are we still starting to see that, or is it starting to level, or
Look,
what are we starting to see?
It is starting to level out. What it would appear, based on what we've seen, it would appear somewhere around January this year was the peak of the market.
Yep.
The market has probably stabilised to a degree over the ensuing months as we move through sort of January, February, March.
Yep.
But it looks like January was probably the peak of the market here in Ipswich. Obviously, the market has continued to perform amazingly. We had that record, unbelievable month in March.
Yes.
But the prices have now stabilised, and what we're starting to see now, as we get more stock come to market,
Yep.
we may see a slight softening
Yes.
of the market and some of those prices. So the positive news is for buyers, and let's face it, sellers have had a pretty good crack for about
Yes,
good
for a while.
Good for 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
The sellers have had it pretty much their own way.
Yep.
We are now starting to see that market slightly soften a little bit in terms of pricing. And I think now there's an opportunity where buyers, that there will be some opportunities in the market which represent much better value for them than we've seen previously.
Yes, agreed. All right. So obviously that's the buying and selling side of things. Just quickly though, how's the rental side of things looking?
Okay, obviously rental market's slightly been affected because I mentioned a federal budget.
Yes.
Now, in the federal budget, we saw some things which haven't been received particularly well, particularly by investors, where for investors, the provisions of negative gearing, they're going to be abolished for future transactions. So anything bought after the federal budget doesn't have the same negative gearing and capital gains tax relief as was previous. For all our current owners and people who own investment properties, all of their rights have been grandfathered, so they can't lose those benefits that they have. But for new investors, unless you build a brand new property, there is no negative gearing, there is no capital gains tax concessions. There will be a different model. I'm not an accountant, so we're not going to explain it to you. But there is a different, formula based on CPI, which will be implemented as Mr. Albanese so eloquently tried to explain to us. But there is a new model coming. But look, it's not all doom and gloom. We did bring on 5 new managements for May. Obviously, a lot of the investors now are a little bit spooked, it's fair to say, and we have seen a lot less investors in the marketplace, so not quite as many investor-style transactions as we've previously seen, and our amazing girls managed to lease 14 properties during the period. So our girls are very busy overall, but our investor numbers are definitely down on where they have been traditionally, and we may see that continue as people start to come to terms with what the budget means, how it impacts them, and they'll be seeking advice from their accountant as per their individual circumstances.
Agreed.
Yeah, so a bit of a different time.
Yes, agreed. So obviously, just going back to buying and selling, what are we seeing in the market, especially for Ipswich? What are we seeing location-wise? Where are we seeing the kind of spots that are still hot, that we're seeing people come to market and people buying?
Look, the market still, as I said, is still really quite strong. You know, you can't sell sort of 78 properties and not, have quality areas. So our top end of the market is still really very strong. We've had some big sales over the period. Some of our core suburbs, like our Brassel, Yamanto, Flinders View, in the Colonial Market, your Sadler's Crossing, Wood End. In the premium sort of post-war market, you've got your Newtown, Eastern Heights, Silkstone. Those areas are all still very popular, and I guess quality housing in those locations is always highly sought after.
Yes.
So, our market is still really quite strong compared to stuff across the board. I saw an article, and there's so much of it on Facebook right now. If you read the newspaper, if you watch the news, I'm going to do another podcast about some of the things that are being said about the market.
Yes.
So stay tuned, Ipswich's real estate podcast for that little beauty that's coming your way.
Yes.
About what's actually happening in the marketplace. But, some markets and some states are suffering quite badly.
Yes.
Queensland remains strong because we have obviously strong migration to our state. We definitely still have a housing shortage. We've got more people coming here than we have houses to put them in, generally speaking. So Queensland will never, in our opinion, and I guess in the opinion of a lot of experts, be as affected as some of our southern states.
Yes.
Unfortunately for them. Great for us, not so good for them. But Queensland still remains a standout in terms of performance. So for everyone out there, if you're looking to live in Queensland, if you're looking to invest in Queensland, this is the place to be. So you're looking in the right spot.
Yes, agreed. All right, and obviously not long now, we've got an RBA announcement coming out soon.
Yes.
What's your? We didn't have you on the last podcast.
No, I wasn't here. I do apologise. I wasn't here then for that one.
But obviously, I think there's been some new data that's come out that suggested that there might be a bit of a change there. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to pause? Do you think they're going to go up? Do you think they're going to go down? What do you think might
I think
happen?
they'll pause. I won't draw it out. I think that they will pause. Obviously, we've seen a fairly significant increase in unemployment. We saw in a 1 month period, we saw quite a considerable, I think it was 1.5% drop in inflation.
Yes.
I think, and I hope and I pray that the RBA will sit back and wait for more data before increasing. So
Yes.
I am very, very hopeful we will get a pause.
Yes.
All right, so you heard it here first. This is Ipswich's Real Estate Podcast, the number one real estate podcast in all of Ipswich. Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Thank you,
Trevor's
Trevor.
going to love you, yeah.
But so I think we'll get a pause.
Yep.
So obviously stay tuned.
Yes.
It's the 16th of June, I think the RBA announcement is. I think it's the
Yes.
16th. So stay tuned and we'll come back to you and with the RBA announcement, and obviously we'll talk about what's happening and then what the Reserve Bank Governor says. But fingers crossed, we're looking for a pause.
Yep. I agree. It would be lovely, I think. I think a lot of people would be happy.
Yeah, I think, look, traditionally they have been very quick to probably act up
Correct.
and to increase and much slower to decrease.
Correct.
But I would think based on the very, initial information that's come in, there should be enough
Yes.
there to pause it. I
Agreed.
would hope for one,
Yeah.
and then we see what happens moving forward. You're in business. What's your experience of people slowing down, stop spending money? What are they doing?
I think people are being more cautious with their decisions.
I agree. That's a good word. Cautious.
Yeah, I don't think things have slowed though. I'm not experiencing that. We're definitely still seeing a lot of engagement with business. I think it's that time of year too though, end financial year. We deal with businesses from all sectors.
So all the big sales are coming on, and
correct. So and everyone needs advertising for those, right? So that's happening. And from my experience, what I'm seeing in those different industries, we work with a lot of different industries, car industry in particular. We're definitely not seeing it soften yet there either. There's been no impact there. And generally when we start to see in the past, house prices affecting that or the market itself, it generally, cars can kind of go the same way. And
Correct.
we're not seeing that. So,
well, look, our numbers indicate, as we said, this isn't all doom and gloom, okay? This isn't, it's an artificial circumstance. The government has intervened. I believe they've come out as early as today to say, and the Prime Minister's saying, the sole purpose of all this legislation is to slow house price growth. Yep. Over the last 20 odd years, house prices have gone up something like 400%.
Yep.
And they're saying, they're just too dear. So they have artificially stepped in to slow.
Yes.
And look, whether you like it or not, I'm not a huge fan, but whether you like it or not, it appears to be working.
Yeah.
Right? What the long-term effects are.
Correct.
And I'll talk about that in the next, in our future podcast.
Yes.
I think there's some unforeseen and unexpected consequences coming as a result of the policy decisions that have been made. So
yes,
stay tuned for that one.
Agreed. Well, I don't have anything else. I think we've wrapped that up as to where things are at and where May finished up. So.
Yeah, look, like I said, and I'll finish on this note. May still extremely positive.
Yes.
Our agents are, they're working harder than ever and they're still achieving some amazing results thanks to our amazing sellers. There's a better opportunity and a bigger opportunity for buyers to potentially get into the market with less competition, and in some cases we may see a slight softening of some prices, which is to their benefit. So overall, it's still good for everyone.
Yes.
All right?
Agreed.
So, guys, if you've liked our content, if you want to ask us any questions or you've got any feedback, it's really important to us. Click the link below and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. So, to finish off, thank you to Matthew Taylor-Farrington from Purple Bunny Marketing, great friend of the show. His advice and support is invaluable. If you need any marketing, websites, all that sort of stuff, come to the best.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
So Matt will help you out. On behalf of myself, I'm Steve Athanates. I'm the owner of NGU Real Estate here in Ipswich. I look forward to seeing you soon on my next episode of Ipswich's Real Estate Podcast.